bringing you the latest news from Lubbock Cooper Athletics. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We have one more school to get through for tonight for this week. I'm going to make one of my guests blush as soon as I pop this open real quick. We are talking Lubbock Cooper, and we're talking Lady Pirate basketball. Amarillo High last week?
Yes.
I guess we didn't time it right. I guess we couldn't. No, I guess this is the first show we've had after that. Okay, so we did get it right. I've got Jaden Isler to my far left. I'm going to have him introduce the guest that he brought with him, who I just popped up on my screen because she is the HubCityPreps.com Lubbock Cooper Athlete of the Week, the female Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, tonight we have Bricia Crenshaw, who's a freshman starter for us.
And who's got some basketball DNA, because I've gotten to know Dad. Dad's a New Mexico guy. Mm-hmm. You didn't play against?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
But I got to know him a little bit. I know where he played. I know some of the folks he played with. I think I've talked to you a little bit about Russ
Gilmore.
Russ Gilmore. Mm-hmm. He's a fellow Kansan.
Yep.
I found that out after he was at Tascosa when I found that out. All he did. Now you took over for a really successful, good coach at Lubbock Cooper.
Yeah.
He took over for maybe the most famous coach, definitely in New Mexico history, and maybe one of the top 5 or 6 most famous high school coaches anywhere.
Yeah, especially as far as wins go, for sure. Yeah, those were big shoes to fill for him back in the day. But they've had some really good teams since then too.
Yeah, they didn't miss a beat. I believe Russ won 4 or 5 state championships.
At least 4 that I can remember off the top of my head.
And if folks around here know the history of Hobbs and the players that have come over here, going back to Rob Evans, that was a longtime assistant coach. Now, Dad wasn't from Hobbs. He was from Artesia, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been to Artesia and seen where your dad played?
No.
Artesia's got a little bit of history, too. Jaden, did you ever coach? What's their arena called? I know it's a...
Ooh, now you're putting me on the spot. They've got Bulldog Stadium.
And that's
it may be Bulldog Arena.
Because there's this very strong, I call it the Artesia Mafia here, that's come over to Lubbock. J.D. Champion, I've realized the other day, the coach at Southcrest is one of those guys. This is your chance to kind of pound your chest a little bit. New Mexico's got really good basketball through the years. You're a product of one of those schools.
Yep. We
got good boys and girls basketball here, but New Mexico doesn't take a back seat to anybody.
No, there's really good athletes, really good coaches over there. Some guys and some women I really respect in the coaching business. And but yeah, and towns like ours where I grew up are 5 miles from the Texas border, so we Lubbock's closer to anything
right
in as far as bigger cities in New Mexico. So there's real ties between Eastern New Mexico and this part of the state for sure. So some good athletes on both sides.
See, so Dad was never getting in any trouble when he was growing up. There's nothing to do in Artesia. He just put his nose down and played basketball.
I guess so.
And that's something you guys do. How many sisters are there?
I think like 4 or 5.
You're the oldest.
Yes, sir.
So you're kind of you're setting the standard, and you're doing a pretty good job. I mentioned the week you had last week, not just you, it's your team. I mentioned Amarillo High. Lubbock Cooper beat Amarillo High 63-57 in overtime. That's a big win for a lot of reasons. First of all, because Amarillo High is Amarillo High, but both of you talk about it. I'll start with you, Jaden, how you beat them, because I went back and looked at what you sent me. It was a competitive game all the way through, and then you get to the end, and you guys have had a couple of games that have gotten away from you right at the end. What did you guys do differently against the Lady Sandys?
Oh, first of all, I love coaching against Jeff. He does such a good job with his teams, and they're always prepped and ready, and they run good stuff, and they're really good at what they do. And I thought the difference for us in that game was one that we were really locked into our defensive game plan, and a lot of credit to our kids. We did a lot of things differently than what our base coverages are, and that was a short prep for us coming off the Monterey game to be able to get some of that installed and put a lot of trust into our kids of like, hey, this is what I think is the best route to defending them and to give us a route to victory that night. And our kids did a great job of doing things almost completely opposite of how we guard some actions throughout the year. So I was really proud of our kids for doing that on a short prep, and then it was a dogfight all night. It was back and forth, close game the whole way, and late, you've just got to find a way to make plays, and usually that's on the defensive end. And we had a couple of big stops, and we had some shots go down. Brescia gets an and one with 3 seconds left on the clock in regulation, and we end up having to get into overtime to put the thing away. But we just had kids really make some big plays for us. Ashton North hits a big three in the overtime to give us a little breathing room and let us go to the free throw line and kind of put the thing away. So our guard play was great. Chloe and Abril really did a great job through their defensive matchups, and then on the offensive end as well. And really a lot of credit to our quote-unquote forwards. Were really a group of all guards, but Hannah and Ashton and Ada did a great job of trying to force their bigs to play over the top of them, and did a great job on the boards to help us fight kind of down in the paint.
You mentioned Ashton. She's got a little bit of basketball DNA to it.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. We love having her, and it was a great moment for her to hit a big shot at a big time. She's been coming in the gym early in the mornings before school, and I've seen her put some real work in, and paid off for her at a big moment.
So, Brescia, Coach just described that game. He could have switched Amarillo High with Monterey, and because you guys were right there with them step for step, and it got towards the end and it got away from you. How old are you, 14, 15?
16.
16-year-old little. So you're ready to drive.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Are Mom and Dad ready for you to drive?
Well, yeah, they kind of have to be.
There we go. It got away from you against Monterey. How much did that help you guys a few nights later against Amarillo High to have been through that and kind of know we got to do something a little bit different this time?
I think going into the Monterey game, we were ready, but towards the end, we kind of just let a few plays. Not saying that we played bad, because we actually played pretty well. Mm-hmm. But going into the Amarillo game, we were locked in. We understood what needed to get done. We followed our defensive plan very well because, yeah, and it was something new, but I think we executed it really good. And then just throughout the game, feeding off of each other's energy really helped.
Well, and you guys' defense, and no offense to Amarillo High, but Monterey also had a girl named Ambrosia Cole at the end of the game, and that game has got her going at the end of games since then. So we're coming up on the first break in the Pirate Fan Zone. We'll be back right after this on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Lubbock Cooper athletics. You're listening to the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I'm Randy Rosetta. You're on 100.7 The Score and on Fox News Now if you're watching on TV. Brescia, did you know you were going to be on TV tonight? I always wonder if coaches tell you that.
No, sorry, I didn't know.
Okay, well, there you are. People are going to see you on TV, but you're much better looking than either guy on either side of you, so no offense, Jaden.
I'll take it.
You've still got youth on your side. So.
Not much.
You guys are, I think I just looked, I know you're right in the hunt district-wise, and we were just talking about it got bottled up a little bit last night because Amarillo High came back and beat Paladuro after Paladuro beat Monterey. But you guys are, Coronado was on earlier tonight. They lost to Monterey last night. They're right there with you. They beat you the first time. You get them against next week. That's going to be a pretty, I say that, every game in your district's pretty important. But you guys have a chance to, with games in front of you now, to just kind of start chopping wood. There was another freshman on, Kaylee Smith was on earlier. Brescia, when you've gotten to high school, you've played a lot of summer ball, a lot of high-level ball, but have you gotten used to kind of the routine and the grind of being in high school and what you have to do to get ready for every game, or is that still something you're getting used to?
I think I've adjusted to it, but at first it was pretty weird, like having a week or 2 days to prep for a team, because normally in AAU you don't have time to prep, you just go and play.
And I've watched this guy's practices. You get prepared pretty well because he's pretty thorough and pretty detailed. What have you learned as a 16-year-old? I don't want to call you 15-year-old. 16-year-old with Coach Isler. What have you learned about basketball just in these few months with him as your coach?
I think I've learned to pay attention to the details more, focus and really lock in on what you're learning, because when you don't, you end up losing rather than when you do, you actually have a shot to win the game.
So are you a point guard, or is it like Coach said, you guys are 5 point guards out there?
I feel like we have some that can handle the ball better, but we're all guards, but some are just bigger than others. Yep. So, yeah.
So full disclosure here, my wife has gone to a lot of basketball games with me. She's a Plainview girl, so she's been around really good high school basketball. When we watched you guys the first time, she leaned over and she said, "They don't look like the Lubbock Cooper teams the last several years." And they're a little bit smaller. They don't. Whatever was growing out there before, I think they've took it away, because you don't have huge players right now, but you're a coach, you're a high school coach. You coach who shows up and you find a way. That's what you guys have done this year, is you've gotten better with girls, young girls who have kind of learned on the run.
Yeah, and credit to our kids, and we try to adapt as a coaching staff every year to best fit our personnel, and we try to put them in positions that they can use their strengths to help the team. We've got to be a team, and we've kind of worked through that all year. We've got to be a team that everybody uses their strengths and everybody tries to cover each other's weaknesses up. And I think that's something that Bricia does a great job for us on our team. Is she can handle it, she can shoot it, she's a really good on-ball defender. But we've asked her to do things that she probably didn't have to do in middle school. We put her in the middle of zones sometimes, where some people would put taller players and let her go try to use. She's a really good decision maker and gets the ball where it needs to go. So sometimes we throw her in there. But this group's just done a great job of adapting to what we've asked them to adapt to. And I think every team's got their own strengths and weaknesses, but for our girls, if they trust what we're telling them and they trust the game plan, we feel pretty comfortable about just putting them in positions that let them thrive for who they are. And I think we've done a great job of that lately, and it's been a growing process. We played really well early. We hit a stretch of some losses that some of them we played decent, some of them we played bad, and some credit to some other teams that beat us during that stretch. But to play in this district, you better have all of that in your non-district schedule, and I think we got to see a little bit of everything, and I like where our team's at right now. But like you said, in our district, there's been a ton of parity. A lot of people have beat other people. The second round is going to be the same thing. So we're just trying to get focused on handling what we can control, and that's the opponent in front of us. And then if you can do that, you don't have to worry about other people trying to help you out and hoping other people win games that can help you. So we're just trying to take it one game at a time right now.
Which, by the way, congratulations to the Lubbock High girls.
Yep,
got a win last night. You know what that's like when that 0 sits there for a while. It's like, got to figure out a way to change that, and they finally changed it. Good for them, because you don't want to go through that season. Looking at you guys' stats from just this last couple weeks, Chloe Young with 5 assists in 2 games. I'm not sure a younger Chloe would have stopped shooting, and that's not. I don't mean that in a mean way. She's a good shooter. But when you've got other girls that can do things, having her become more of a distributor, that's going to help you as well.
Yeah, and that's great growth by her. We always want Chloe. We trust her to take open rhythm ones, and anytime she gets an open good look, we want her firing that thing. That's definitely her gift and what she brings to us. But yeah, she's really developed into, if it's a night where she's struggling or people are trying to take her out of the game, she's not one dimensional. She's not just a shooter. She can get the ball to other people and be a playmaker and make plays. And really, really proud of Chloe on a night the other night where she didn't have her best shooting night. She impacted winning during that game, and that's huge growth.
She can also come in and run my radio show, because she's been on a few times. And I told you she can come in and take over the mic. So we got one more break coming up. We'll be back in the Pirate Fan Zone talking Lubbock Cooper Lady Pirate basketball on 100.7 The Score.
Your inside look into Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. We've got one more segment of the high school Fan Zone. When Paul Page was here, he switched it over to the Ole Miss game because Patton Pinkins, that Patton right there, the Friendship, there he was. Patton Pinkins, the Friendship graduate, a freshman, I believe, is now starting for the Rebels, coached by Chris Beard and Mark Adams. It's kind of cool to see Patton up there. We were talking about my wife talking about Lubbock Cooper being different. You got there right in the middle of this. I was thinking about this the other day. Magic Esquivel Lone Star Conference Player of the Week this last week. Adley Blacklock had a huge game for Texas Tech, 19-0 Texas Tech. Taylor Bolin, is she starting at
she's over at Hardin-Simmons now, yep.
Carly Cronk, I believe, if Carly can stay healthy and quit having weird injuries, she's been starting for Mary Hardin-Baylor. There's a reason you guys look different. There's a reason why young girls like Risha are getting their chance now. That's the nature of the beast in high school sports. You only get to keep them for a few years, and then you got to start coaching who's next.
Yeah, and in some years you have big graduating classes, and it gives some opportunities for for some young players to step up to varsity very quickly. And sometimes, like we were talking about, sometimes you've got to buy your time on some older teams and wait your turn and until you get your shot and be ready for that shot when it comes. And so we just happen to be in one of those moments where after my first year we graduated quite a few out, and
I forgot the two Cortezes, and we can't forget the two Cortezes too.
Yep, that's right. And so it's just opened up some room for for us to be young, but also it gives you the chance to build with the same kids for quite a few years in a row, and sometimes you don't get that opportunity to have them play on varsity for that many years in a row. And so we're excited about our group because we're only going to get better from where we're at, and I like where we're at right now.
And we were just talking about you're not going to lose a lot of girls. You've got the group you've got now is going to be fairly intact starting or coming back next year.
Yeah, we'll lose two seniors, and we've got some. Our JV program actually has the most on their roster out of any freshman JV or varsity. So there's some girls there that are itching to try to make their mark, and we'll have a new incoming class of freshmen, and kind of let them all fight it out to see who gets to go where. But it's a good time.
Risha, they're all going to be excited to come and play with you.
I don't know about that.
Now, did you know any of your teammates when you guys moved over here? I know you guys have been real involved in the off-season basketball program.
I knew Chloe and Ada.
Had you played with them in summer ball or just played against them?
I played with Ada, and I played against Chloe.
Which I think is kind of cool. I sat down and talked with your dad one night. I think it's cool that you guys moved over here, that you're the new kid in town. You've got to kind of find your way to fit in. You sure seem to have figured out a way to do that. How was that a challenge as a young player still?
Not necessarily, because I don't know. I think through basketball it's easier because I've played it my whole life, and I knew the girls, and they're very accepting, so it wasn't hard.
So you grew up in Hobbs.
Yes, sir.
That's not very far away. You knew the legend of Aaliyah Chavez that Coach got to coach against. That's fair.
Yeah.
You're never going to forget coaching against Aaliyah Chavez.
You always want to coach against great players.
When you get to, I mentioned that New Mexico doesn't take a back seat, but you get over here, and West Texas girls basketball is pretty unique. What have you had to learn and start doing differently or better just in these first few months over here?
I don't know. Just not. How do I explain it? It's like there's so many better athletes here. Like in Hobbs, all the good athletes are on your team. You don't necessarily have to play against all of them.
We had some in Clovis.
Oh yeah, in Clovis.
Don't leave me out, Brie.
Sorry. But here it's like every game there's like a few on the team, and you have to be ready to play against them.
You'll see a couple more Friday night. Lady Pirates, is it here or is it's here?
That'll be here, yep.
Paladero comes to town. I believe they're ranked 10th.
I think they moved up to 9th.
They moved up to 9th because they beat Monterey. Your district, again, it's just you look and there's at least 3 or 4 teams. You guys, did you sneak in at one point early in the season?
We've been in, most of our district's been in the top 25 at some point in time in the season.
And I believe there's 4 in there right now. It's every night in your district. Most nights you're going to be playing a ranked team, and when you're not, those may be the tougher games when you're playing those teams that high school kids tend to sometimes relax a little bit, which is coaches have to make sure they don't. You get one of those ranked teams Friday night at Lubbock Cooper, 6 p.m., 7:30 for the boys. That's going to be a key game for both teams, but I think the way Lubbock Cooper's played recently, I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. That wraps us up in the Pirate Fan Zone on this Wednesday. We'll be back Monday in the High School Fan Zone. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.